Okay, so it's been a big weekend. We're at BlizzCon, obviously, but it's also given way to a plethora of new information about the Overwatch League for its 2021 season. We will be in the 4th iteration of the Overwatch League. It's going to be different again, obviously, due to COVID. We're not traveling right now, but we are going to see more intercontinental play than we had last year. And we have had a lot of information about how the league will be structured for this coming season, but also we've had the entire 2021 schedule revealed. This video will be in 2 parts. We are going to talk about the details of the season in this one, and tomorrow we're going to take a look at some of the key games that we will see next season in these 2 regions. So, I'm going to go through this announcement, and first of all, part of it being the 2 regions. So we did get this announced a little while back, but it is going to be divided into East and West this year. It's not going to be APAC and NA. So this year, teams will be divided into 2 groups based on the location for the up and coming for the season, East and West. And each tournament will feature the top 2 teams from each region in a battle for supremacy. So we will see East versus West, and we will see it much more often than we did previously. The East includes 8 teams, which will be competing in China and South Korea. Chengdu Hunters, Guangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark, Los Angeles Valiant, New York Excelsior, Philadelphia Fusion, Shanghai Dragons, and Seoul Dynasty. We knew that already. This means that the West includes 12 teams from Europe and North America. Atlanta Reign, Boston Uprising, Dallas Fuel, Florida Mayhem, Houston Outlaws, London Spitfire, Los Angeles Gladiators, Paris Eternal, San Francisco Shock, Vancouver Titans, Toronto Defiant, and Washington Justice. That comprises your 20 teams for the 2021 season, and it will be divided up into 4 unique tournaments. Last year we saw 3, they've added an extra one. The 3 from last year will be retained, so the main Melee, Summer Showdown, and Countdown Cup will all be returning for 2021, but just after the main Melee we'll have a new one called the June Joust. So, the 2021 opening weekend starts on April the 16th. Week 1 will take place from the 16th to the 18th, and this week 2 will take place from the 23rd to 25th, and week 3 will take place from the 29th to May the 1st. These will be qualifiers for the May Melee tournament, which starts on May the 7th. Then there will be a bye week. Then we will go into the lead up for the June Joust. By then it will be week 6, which will take place from May the 21st to May the 23rd. Week 7 will take place from May the 28th to the 30th. Then we'll see week 8 from June the 3rd to June the 5th. And the June Joust will take place on June the 11th, with those previous 3 weeks being the qualifiers for that tournament. Then we'll have another bye week. Then we will go into week 11, which will start the build-up for the Summer Showdown. That will take place between June the 25th and 27th. Week 12 will take place from July 2nd to July 4th. Then we'll see week 13 from July 8th to July 10th, and then the Summer Showdown tournament will actually begin on July the 16th. Then we move over to the Countdown Cup qualifiers. This will be week 16 by then, July the 30th to August the 1st. Week 17 will be August the 6th to August the 8th. And then week 18 will be August the 12th to August the 14th. And then the Countdown Cup tournament will start on August the 20th. And that is your 4 blocks of competition that will comprise the regular season of the Overwatch League for 2021. And it will cycle very similar in each of those brackets. It's really, really interesting. And when we get to these tournaments, teams from both regions will compete in the 4 tournaments. In the West, the top 6 qualifying teams will play a round of knockout matches with the 2 teams advancing to the tournament weekend. In the East, the top 4 qualifiers will play down to 2 teams. The top 2 teams from the East and West will then play in a double elimination bracket to determine a tournament champion. So in each of these months, or each of these tournament brackets, we will see 2 teams from each region go up against each other in a intercontinental competition, very much like what we saw at the end of last season in the grand finals. So here is what that tournament format looks like for each of these 4 tournaments that we will see in the 2021 season. In the West, we will see 6 top teams go through to that tournament. So there's a lot of opportunity. So half of those teams are going to go into that tournament. Seed 6 plays Seed 3 in the first match. Seed 4 plays Seed 5 in the second match. Match 3 will see the second seed versus the first match winner, and then the first seed will play the second match winner in match 4, and then each of those winners will advance to those final 4 tournament weekends for the intercontinental competition. And then in the East, we will see the top 4 advance, and there will be one match to decide the winner and a second match to decide the other winner, both of those advancing to that global intercontinental tournament weekend, which we will see the West first seed versus the East second seed, then we will see the East first seed versus the West second seed, and then the winners of those will take on the match, and then the two losers of those will go down to a losers bracket where they will play each other, and then the losers of the winners final will take on the winners of the losers out of the first losers match, and then that losers final goes through to play the winners of the winners final and the grand final, and then you have a winner of the tournament weekend and the winner of the May Melee, June Joust, Countdown Cup, Summer Showdown, whichever tournament it may be. But we will see that intercontinental competition, which is something that a lot of people missed last year, and we only saw in the grand finals. We get much more opportunity to see something like the Shanghai Dragons take on the San Francisco Shock, or the Dallas Fuel take on the Seoul Dynasty, things like that, which will be super, super interesting. This does also come with a caveat that travel restrictions and stuff like that may impact the ability to perform these so-called tournaments. But again, it will be very easy to transfer to the format we saw last year, where we saw an APAC winner and a NA winner. We could do that with the East and West regions just by cutting out this international tournament and having a final between the winners of the individual regions. So it will be very easy to transfer to a non-travel format. League points and standings and qualification. It's changing slightly, but it's very similar to what it was last year. They're just renaming it slightly. This season, we're shifting to a new scoring system for standings that awards league points for qualifier and tournament wins. Each team plays 16 qualifier matches throughout the season, and each win is worth 1 league point. So basically, 1 league point is the same as a win on the board, which is what it was last season. The teams who qualify for win at the tournaments will qualify for the additional points as follows. First place in a tournament will get you 3 league points, second place in a tournament will get 2 league points, and third place in a tournament will get 1 league point. So that's exactly what they did last year, except they gave you 3 wins basically. They gave you 3 match wins. It's no different, they're just renaming it to league points, and they're going to give you a points tally. That's what a lot of different leagues do in other sports. The Premier League in football or soccer in this country gives 3 points for each win, a point for a draw, and no points for a loss. So it's a similar system to that. They're just doing it a bit more plainly. 1 point gets you 1 point for a win, but in these tournaments you will get a few extra points if you manage to get all the way through. So, within each tournament cycle, any wins during these 3 weeks of qualifiers will accrue league points to determine seeding and qualification for that specific tournament. So, a team might not qualify for the May Melee tournament, but can qualify for the June Joust tournament if they perform well during the qualifier matches for that tournament cycle. Regular season match wins, not including tournament wins, is the top tiebreaker to determine ordering amongst teams with the same amount of league points. So, the actual match wins will take effect, and there will be league points that will be in addition to that. But if league points are equal, we will go back to match wins that will determine who comes above who. So it will be an additional points tally, but it will be very closely aligned with match wins in the regular season. It'll just be a points tally that is determined basically by how you do in those tournaments, which I think is a neat way of thinking about it. Additional tiebreakers will be included in 2021 Overwatch League rules of competition. Playoffs. All league points acquired throughout the season will be used to determine qualification and seeding for the playoffs. At the end of the regular season, the top 3 teams from the West region and the top 2 teams from the East region will directly qualify into the playoffs. A play-in tournament for each region will qualify an additional 3 teams, 2 from the West and 1 from the East, into the remaining spots in the 8-team double elimination playoff bracket. More information about the postseason format will be shared later. So that does indicate a very similar scenario to what we saw last year, but there will be automatic qualification spots for some teams that do the best in the regular season. I think that is a really good idea, and it gives incentive for the regular season to be very, very powerful. Seoul Dynasty, I'm looking at you from last season. We don't want another iteration of that where the actual regular season matches aren't taken all that seriously, but when it comes to tournaments, they pop off, and they end up getting where they need to be. Broadcast times and where they watch. New this season, we're evolving our broadcast times to cater better for our fans, or better cater to our fans, one or the other. All live broadcasts featuring teams playing in the West will start at 12 PM Pacific Time, and broadcasts featuring teams playing in the East will start at 5 PM China Standard Time, 6 PM Korea Standard Time. All Overwatch League matches will be live and on demand on our YouTube channel, on overwatchleague.com and the Overwatch League app. The prize pool. This season, a total of US $4,250,000 is up for grabs, with prizing split between tournaments and the playoffs, and it breaks down as follows. So, in tournaments, the first place will get $100,000, the second place will get $70,000, third place will get $35,000, and fourth place will get $20,000. In the playoffs, the overall playoffs this being, you will get $1.5 million for winning the entire competition of the Overwatch League 2021, second will get $700,000, third will get $350,000, fourth will get $300,000, fifth will get $200,000, sixth will get $100,000, and seventh and eighth will get $50,000 each. There's a lot of prize money up for grabs, catering nearly the entire top half of the league, so there is a lot to go for. Hero pools. The hero pools system is a rotation of playable heroes intended to showcase more hero diversity and strategy in matches. Hero pools will be used for 2 of the 4 tournament cycles, the June Joust and the Countdown Cup. That includes all of the qualifier and tournament matches for each of those cycles. There will be no hero pool for May Melee or Summer Showdown or in the playoffs. For the 2 cycles where hero pools are used, 4 heroes will be removed from play, 2 damage, 1 tank, and 1 support. Heroes are randomly selected from a group of eligible heroes based on the play rate data from the previous tournament cycle of the Overwatch League matches. Only heroes that are being played regularly, 10% or more, can be pulled out of the hero pool rotation. No hero can be removed more than once during the season. Interesting change to hero pools there. We will only see it for 2 of the 4 tournaments. I think that's actually a pretty interesting thing to do. It means there will be a definite meta, but it will definitely switch up throughout the season. It will keep it very fresh to watch the Overwatch League, but it'll also not be too chaotic. I think that's not a bad balance to go with, and I'm very interested to see how that's pulled off. But when we start the Overwatch League for its 2021 season, we will not see a hero pool because there is no hero pool in the May Melee. So the qualifier matches for the May Melee won't have a hero pool either. Then after that May Melee tournament, we will see a hero pool for the June Joust. So that's going to be really, really interesting. We're not going to see hero pools for a good couple of months as we get into the Overwatch League, and I think that's going to be interesting to see how that works. Map pools. Each map pool will be played with 14 maps and the same 4 game modes: Control, Hybrid, Escort, and Assault. In each tournament cycle, 5 Control, all of them, 3 Hybrid, 3 Escort, and 3 Assaults. The game mode order will change for each tournament cycle and for the playoffs. The main Melee tournament cycle map pool includes Control, Lijiang Tower, Busan, Oasis, Nepal, and Ilios. Hybrid will be Kings Row, Blizzard World, and Icon World. Escort will be Dorado, Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Havana. Assault will be Hanamura, Volskaya Industries, and Temple of Anubis. Interesting map pools for the initial start for the Overwatch League. Nice to see Kings Row in there. We have Double Bubble as meta. That's going to be good for Watchpoint Gibraltar as well. During the 4 tournaments, the first map will be chosen by the higher seeded team, though it must be a control map. The loser of each subsequent map will select the next map within the confines of the predetermined game mode order for that tournament. We will announce the rest of the map pools during the season. The playoffs will be played on a separate map pool. Game patches. In order to maintain a level playing field and competitive balance, Overwatch game patches will only be deployed for the Overwatch League usage between tournament cycles and during bye weeks. So that's understandable. They do not want to disrupt the pro meta during the middle of a tournament cycle. It can have a massive impact on which teams do well and which teams don't do well. We saw that at the end of last season, where Washington Justice did very, very well in the off-tank meta with Decay on the Zarya. And we saw a lot more Roadhog, and Washington Justice popped off. And it was really, really their meta. And meta can have a massive impact on teams doing well. A team that could be very heavily meta dependent could be someone like Dallas Fuel, as we see them doing very well in dive. But when it comes to more ball comps, they tend to struggle with Phyllis on the Wrecking Ball and things like that. So it can have a massive impact on the meta, and we don't want that changing in the middle of a tournament cycle. So I can understand why they are doing it in those bye weeks and those off cycles. Anyway, that is the announcement and the details of next season. We have pretty much everything we need to know there. Next up, tomorrow we'll be looking at more at the fixtures that have been announced and some of the big games that are coming up in 2021. It's going to be some interesting matches, some super interesting matches, and that's without knowing even who's going to be in those tournament matches yet. And then we get into the build-up for the 2021 season, including team previews that will be coming very soon, predictions, also power rankings as well for each region. And, you know, maybe, just maybe, we will get a roster for the Los Angeles Valiant before the start of the season. That would be a thing, wouldn't it? Anyway, socials are linked in the video description below, all the socials for Illusion Gaming and myself. As per usual, thank you very much for supporting this channel. As always, I am blown away with your support. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you'd like to give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.